This is the Louie Tee Network.
Could it be? For me, your man, Louie T, welcome. You are here on lockdown coverage, week 4 in the National Football League. Your man, Louie T, covering the entire league like a blanket. Detroit Lions, or till they win again, Detroit Lions taking on the Bears in the Windy City. This was supposed to be a W for the Lions, but like I've said before, this is why they're going to be 6-10, 7-9 at the end of the season, because they don't know how to win games that they're supposed to win. And I know it's family business, and I know how it goes. You don't have to explain this to me. If these two teams say they ain't did it, then they ain't did it. But if they did, well, that's family business. I understand. This is NFC North family business. But the Lions were supposed to take care of business, and they did. We'll talk about that in a little bit. First and foremost, though, before we get to this breakdown, welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, welcome to the Louie Tee Network, and subscribe to the YouTube channel Louie Tee Network for more great content in 2016 and beyond. Also on Twitter at In the Lab Room. That's the Twitter handle. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter. Lots of updates, tweets, and things of that nature going on Twitter. So go ahead and follow me. Also on Facebook, updates and things of that nature are on Facebook as well. Going to do some exclusive things down the road on Facebook, so go ahead and like the Facebook page In the Lab Room on Facebook. While you are at it, go ahead and give me that thumbs up. And you can see all of my social media platforms up above, scrolling across the screen. So be sure to like, subscribe, and follow on all of those different platforms. With that being said, let's get to the breakdown of week 4. Detroit Lions at the Chicago Bears. Likes, dislikes, banana in the tailpipe. You know how I like to do it. If you don't, simple concept. Things that I liked, disliked from the first and second half of the game from each team in this ball game. I always start with the road team, in this case, that being the Detroit Lions. Let's start there with Detroit. In the first half, their likes. 4th and 1 stop and turning it into a field goal. Look, they didn't get a lot of things accomplished in this game, did the Lions, okay? They struggled in most facets of the game, but they did get a key stop on 4th and 1 that gave them their best field position by far of the first half, and they took that field position and converted it into a 50-yard field goal by Matt Prater. So getting some points, getting on the scoreboard, important, able to do that. Kerry Hyder Jr. is my final like for the first half. This guy is on a tear. He continues to be the lone consistent pass rusher on this defense. They can't wait till they get some of their stuff back, mainly Ziggy Ansah. But right now, until he comes back, Kerry Hyder Jr. is going to continue to get pressure. He did it again. He did it again in this game, getting to Billy Ho, getting him on the ground. You go to the first half likes of the Chicago Bears in this game, and it's their defense. They were tremendous in this game, and we'll talk a little bit more about their defense later on when I get to some of the players that I like, or at least one in particular that I like from the defense. But this Bears defense was lights out in the first half and really in the second half as well. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, but also a like in the first half. Jacoby Glenn, the cornerback. Here's a guy that he's not going to be flashy. It's not going to be pretty. He's going to catch a PI or two, maybe a holding penalty. He's going to be a little handsy, but this guy is always around the football. He's making plays, got his first career pick in this game. I've watched Jacoby Glenn closely all season long, and I've liked him ever since week 1. I've been very impressed with what this young, feisty corner has come in and done. And there's another corner that has caught my eye, a guy that they drafted that I am very impressed with. And I liked his measurables coming out of college, but it's good to see it finally coming to fruition on the football field. And we'll talk about him in the second half of this game. But Jacoby Glenn, big interception late in the first half. Lions on the move. Stafford makes a big mistake. Really, the mistake was on wide receiver Golden Tate, and we'll talk about him a little bit later on as well. They weren't on the same page. I don't know who made the mistake. I'm going to assume it was Golden Tate, not Matthew Stafford. Either way, Jacoby Glenn all over the route, and he picks it off and gets that scoring opportunity for the Bears dismissed, as the Bears were really trifling defensively in the first half of this game to the Detroit Lions. Let's go to the first half dislikes, and we go back to Detroit. Sluggish offense. This offense has been so disappointing and so inconsistent this season. You've got the explosion in week 1 versus Indianapolis. Then you get the stinker and the snoozer of a performance versus the Tennessee Titans in week 2. Then you get the first half from hell versus Green Bay. Then you get an electric second half versus Green Bay. And then you get a stinker first and second half in this game versus the Chicago Bears. The Lions just offensively don't have any rhythm. They don't have consistency from week to week. Hell, from quarter to quarter, from possession to possession. You just don't know what you're going to get out of these guys. And losing Amir Abdullah, I didn't think would have as big an impact, but it does. And they're struggling right now, and their offense is not pretty to watch in Detroit right now. Matthew Stafford's interception rate before the half, I talked about it already, but let's talk about it a little bit more, because the player that he was throwing the football to, something's going on there. Okay, I'll talk about Golden Tate later because I have a new name for him. But that interception to me is a microcosm of where this Lions team is. They're not on the same page. Offensively, they're just scatterbrained. You got Eric Ebron standing around because he thinks his running back is going to get tackled on the play, Theo Riddick, in the backfield. He missed an assignment. He didn't get over there fast enough to sift block the defensive end. And so that defensive end gets in, and he thinks that it's a tackle for about a 4 or 5 yard loss, and he's standing up, hands on his hips. Theo Riddick breaks the tackle, and while he's standing up there looking like a goon, his player is trying to avoid 3 or 4 different Bears who are trying to tackle him, and then he turns around. Oh, he didn't get tackled. Yeah, dummy, he didn't get tackled because you quit on the play, and he didn't. You allowed him to continue to get tackled for a 4 yard loss on the play. That, to me, is what this Lions team is right now. They're just not on one accord. And that on that interception Stafford threw before the halftime break, to me, was the epitome of where they are right now as a football team, especially on the offensive side of the football. He's thinking that Golden Tate's coming back to the football. Golden Tate is running a go route. They're not on the same page. He throws the football. It gets picked off. They get nothing before the half. That's where they are offensively. This team, if it's not Marvin Jones and Matthew Stafford, then it's not two guys on the same page. And even those two weren't synced up in this game. There wasn't a lot of synchronicity between the two of them like it had been in previous weeks in this ball game. But right now, the Lions offensively are struggling, and we know the defense isn't that great either. Let's get to the second half likes for both teams, let's go to the Bears in their first half dislikes. Missed field goal by Connor Barth, 50 yards out. Look, Connor Barth isn't the field goal kicker he used to be. When he first came into the league with Tampa, this guy was lights out. I mean, big leg, making kicks. He had an injury in the offseason one year with Tampa where he was playing basketball and he injured himself and missed the entire year. Hasn't been the same kicker since. And so I just don't think he has the confidence. I don't think he's the same guy. And I think you can find better. If you're the Bears, you need to find better. I think there are better kickers out there, younger guys, stronger legs, more consistent. There are guys out there that can kick the football. Maybe even a retread kicker that just doesn't have a job right now. You can find better than Connor Barth, though. He's been struggling this season. I'm not a big fan of his right now, and I used to be a huge Connor Barth fan. Failed 4th and 1, gave the Lions some great field position, which they would turn into a field goal. They weren't even close on that 4th down. They got stuffed, and that's a shame because they really hadn't done much wrong in that first half, but that allowed the Lions to get a field goal in otherwise a flawless first half for the Chicago Bears as they dominated this football game early. Let's get to the second half likes in this game. We go back to Detroit in this game. Good opening drive. They move it down the field, but can't get in the end zone. Again, inside the 10-yard line. You'd like to see the Lions cap off what was a beautiful opening second half drive with a touchdown and get right back in this game. Instead, they settle for a field goal, and that was the theme of the day, settling. This was a team that settled all day long, not just in the red zone. It's not like they had 5 red zone attempts and had to settle for field goals. They just settled. It just seemed like a team that was okay with not scoring an offensive touchdown, that was okay not converting on third down, that was okay losing to the Chicago Bears with Billy Ho at quarterback. This just seemed like a team that was content with settling for average and mediocre and less than stellar in this football game, and that's what they got in the outcome as a loss. I didn't like what I saw out of the Bears, the Lions, body language-wise in this game. Something needs to change. I think you know what it is. I'm not going to say it because I don't like to advocate that kind of thing unless it is dire. And I don't know if it's dire, but something needs to change in Chicago. I just don't see the life and the energy that is necessary to win on a consistent basis. They got enough talent on that team to find ways to beat teams like this and the Tennessee Titans, and yet they haven't been able to do so this season. And that's why they've gotten out to a 1-3 start. 85-yard punt return at the end of the game by Andre Roberts gave them a shot in this game. And the subsequent 2-point conversion that followed cut it to a 3-point lead, gave them an opportunity that they didn't deserve in this game. And give some credit to Andre Roberts. He stuck with it because he's had some poor returns, some poor decisions to come out of the end zone. And this one was rewarding. He's a guy that every now and again will pop one for you, made a really good play on a return, got into the end zone, and gave the Lions a chance. Again, in a game that they had no business having a chance in. They didn't deserve an opportunity to have a chance late. And that punt return of 85 yards for a touchdown gave them exactly that. Let's go to the Bears second half likes. And I just got a bunch of players that stick out to me because this is a Bears football team that's going to struggle this season, obviously. But they've got players on this team that can help them. And they've got some young guys that I think can be some cornerstone players moving forward that are blossoming right before our very eyes. I want to mention a few of them. Eddie Royal, he's a veteran. He's a guy that can do some things in the slot. And I think right now he's their most consistent receiver, which isn't a good thing because when you got Alshon Jeffrey, never, ever trust a man with 2 first names on your roster. And then you got a young guy in Kevin White that you're hoping comes of age. You don't want to hear that Eddie Royal is the most consistent guy you got, but that's essentially what I'm telling you. You don't know what you're getting from Alshon Jeffrey. Never, ever trust a man with 2 first names from week to week. And Kevin White's still trying to find his footing and figure out some things in this league, and he got injured in this game as well. So Eddie Royal right now is your most consistent receiver. He went over 100 yards for the first time, it seems like, in forever. 7 catches, a $111, and a touch. I thought he was tremendous in this game, was Eddie Royal. And he continues to be really good for this team on special teams as well. Saw him return a punt for a touchdown versus the Eagles on a Monday night a couple weeks back. So Eddie Royal, to me, is a guy that they can count on to get the football to. His key is he needs to stay healthy. If he can do that, Eddie Royal is going to continue to be a problem that you're going to have to deal with when you play the Chicago Bears football team. Billy Ho. I give Billy Ho a lot of flack, and rightfully so. He's a backup quarterback at best, but he's a good backup quarterback because he can do things like this. Like he can't win you games consistently. He's not a guy you want to put out there every week and ask him to get your team to 10 wins. That's not who Billy Ho is. But if you need Billy Ho in a pinch to step in for a 3, 4, even 5 game stretch, he can do that admirably. Okay, you just want to limit what you ask him to do, and you don't want to ask him to do these types of numbers very often. But he's a solid backup quarterback in this league, and you saw it in this game. 28 of 36 for 3 and some change, couple of touches, no mistakes. And generally, if you can get to Billy Ho and rattle his cage a bit, he'll give you some opportunities. Lions couldn't do that in this game, and so he was able to sit back, did some good things with his legs outside the pocket, bought time and found receivers like he did for Eddie Royal on the touchdown. He did some good things with his legs in this game, escaping the pocket and making some throws. Billy Ho, impressive in this game, and I think he actually gives them a shot. Jay Cutler struggles. And Billy Ho right now is playing confident football, so we'll see what happens moving forward. But thought Billy Ho went out and performed well in this game and gave the Bears a shot to win. Jordan Howard, another one of these young Bear players that I really like, that I think has an opportunity to be a cornerstone player on the offense. Along with Jeremy Langford when he comes back, this could be a nice little 1-2 punch here, with Jordan Howard being more of your bell cow in between the tackles runner, and Langford being more of your third down receiver type, out of the backfield, third down back. So I think Jordan Howard is a guy that can do some really nice things. Thought this was his best game by far. First career start, and he made the most of it. 23 carries, $111. Really ran the football hard throughout the game and really gashed this Lions defense. I thought he did some great things in this game as well. Really like Jordan Howard. Want to see him start moving forward and see him continue to gain confidence as the lead back in Chicago. And DeAndre Hall, here's a guy that I was referencing earlier out of North. Oh, my goodness. I forgot the name of the college. It'll come to me. But this is a guy, long arms, long corner, played corner and safety at UNI. It was at UNI. He played with David Johnson, the running back at that plays for the Arizona Cardinals. It's not Northern Illinois. It's Northern Iowa. And this is a guy that has immense potential, great ball skills, not afraid to come up and tackle. DeAndre Hall is a guy I really like, and he made his first career interception in this game off of Stafford. And I'm telling you right now, between Jacoby and DeAndre Hall, I'm telling you right now, you got a couple of guys in Jacoby Glenn, DeAndre Hall, that could be some really good corners for you. And then if you can find a way to get Fuller back and get him healthy, all of a sudden now that secondary with Tracy Porter doesn't look that bad. I love me some Adrian Amos. They're building some things there. Now you need the guys up front. You need Leonard Floyd to step up. You need some of those guys in that front seven to start to do some things. It would have been nice if Eddie Goldman didn't get injured. If you could just get these guys to stay healthy. You had a ton of injuries already in the season, so you don't get these guys to gel and mesh together. But that secondary is starting to come together. And if you get these young guys to continue to play and you keep getting them reps, they're only going to get better, like DeAndre Hall, like Jacoby Glenn, like what this Bears team is building in that secondary. And they got pieces in the front seven. If they can stay healthy, they may have something. I'm going to tell you this right now. The Bears may not win a ton of games, and I've said this already at least 2 times in other games this season. They may not win a bunch of games, but defensively, they're going to bring their hard hat every single game under Vic Fangio and John Fox. I don't give a damn who the opponent is. I don't care what the situation looks like. They're going to come with their hard hat. They're going to hit you. They may give up points. They may give up chunk plays, but they're going to hit you. They're going to be physical. They were that in this game, and it was enough to get them their first victory of the season, 17-14. Let's go to the second half dislikes for both teams. And man, red zone offense for the Lions is the first thing up. And it's not like they were down there a ton, but when you do get down there, you got to make it count. And they didn't do that in this game. And they had to settle for 2 field goals in this game. One, like I said, coming inside the Bears' 10-yard line. Got to get in the end zone, especially when you don't get down there very often. Got to make it count. They didn't do that. Let's talk about this issue. I've already talked about this at least twice this season, and I've had a great conversation with one Lions fan in particular about this, and he gave me some insight, and I've already mentioned it before, but this is getting out of hand now. It's not Golden Tate anymore. It's Ghostin' Tate. Where the hell is this guy? He's a ghost on the football field. At one point, I think he got sat down after the pick at the end of the first half, and he didn't play for a good majority of the game. What's going on with Golden Tate? Or should I say Ghostin' Tate? What the hell is going on with Ghostin' Tate? Where is this guy? What is going on that they can't find ways to get him the football? And what is going on where he can't get his head in the game mentally and be sharp enough to not run wrong routes that force turnovers? What the hell is going on with this situation? This Lions offense isn't good enough to have Ghostin' Tate not show up week in and week out and have him be non-existent in the game plan and non-existent on the field. This is becoming an issue because they don't have enough playmakers as it is You take away one of the big ones that you thought you had coming into the season, and that's how you end up 1-3. That's how you end up scoring 15 points in a loss to the Titans. That's how you end up scoring 14 points in a loss to the Bears. That's how you end up 1-3 to start the season. He needs to be more involved in his offense. You're already missing AA Amir Abdullah. You are lacking playmakers. When a guy like Anquan Bolden is one of the best receivers you have, one of the guys that you can rely on because Golston Tate isn't, you have a problem, okay? Anquan Bolden was picked up literally 1 or 2 weeks before the season started. He shouldn't be your second leading receiver on your team in terms of wide receivers behind Marvin Jones. Oh, by the way, another guy that was just signed this year. Golden Tate, or should I say Golston Tate, should be the guy carrying this wide receiver group. And if he's not, he should be right behind Marvin Jones. Because I think Jones has established himself clearly as the number one receiver, which I think Golston Tate is a little salty about. Get over it and make plays. And the Lions need to find ways to get him the football. Don't put this all on Golston Tate. You need to find a way to get him the football. Jet sweeps, reverses, hitches, slants, bubble screens. I don't see these being done. Get him the football. Get him involved early. Make him feel a part of the offense. This is getting ridiculous. And then finally, the last interception to DeAndre Hall, thrown by Stafford. You're under 4 minutes in the game. You're driving the football. You got a chance. You're down 8. Can't happen. It can't happen. And it did. And so, or I think you might have been down 11 at that point. It might have been 17-6 at that point in the game. Either way, you're under 4 minutes. You need it. Whether it's a field goal that comes out of this drive or a touchdown, you need it. You're down 2 scores. You can't throw that interception if you're Matthew Stafford. But like I said, this team is struggling. So that to me, again, a microcosm of what this team is right now. They just don't have it together as a team. You get to the Bears and their dislikes for the second half. And it's just one thing. Allowing the 85-yard punt return in this game and the 2-point conversion to cut it to 3. Look, you dominated this game. You dominated this. Don't allow this to be close at the end. Don't allow this to come down to an onside kick. You dominated this game. You deserve to be able to look and high five on the sidelines and know that this game is over. You shouldn't have to sweat this one out. You dominated this game. You earned the right to win this game 17-6. Don't give it away. Don't allow them to run back an 85-yard punt return and then convert the 2-point conversion and cut it to 3. Don't do that. You deserve this. You dominated them in the first half defensively. You dominated them defensively in the second half. You got scores in the first and the second half. You deserve to win this game comfortably. Don't allow them to have the satisfaction of feeling like they have a chance at the end of this game, and you did with the 85-yard punt return. See if there are any comments. See if we got anything on Twitter before I jump out of here. Yep, got some comments on Twitter. So I'll read those quickly before we get out of here. And if you're out there, use the hashtag LouieTeeLive. My man at Robbie Sohal says, where the hell was Golden Tate the whole game? What happened to him this season? I've been talking about that all season long, Robbie. All season long. I've been asking the same question about Golston Tate. Where the hell is he? He's Casper right now, and he's not a friendly ghost as it may appear right now. Something's going on, and it's not just football related. Something's going on behind the scenes. And like I said, I talked to a Lions fan, and he said, look, he thinks that Golden Tate's a little salty that he's not the number one option on his team. He's a little jealous. He's been moping around, running bad routes, running wrong routes, and we saw that in this game. And it's carried over from the offseason into the regular season. Now he's not getting the football, and now it's becoming worse and worse. And this guy can become a cancer. If this doesn't get fixed and rectified, this could become a cancer in this Lions locker room. Robbie Sohal asked the following: was the Bears defense that good, or was the Lions offense that bad? It's a combination of both. Lions offense was horrible, and the Bears defensively, they're not as bad as people think. They're getting better week after week after week. Where they can be exposed is on the ground, and the Lions just don't have the guys to run the football right now. And so It's a little bit of both, a little combination of both. But their secondary is not that bad, and you found that out in this game. At Robbie Sohal, do DeAndre Levy and Ziggy Ansah really mean that much to the Lions D to where without them they're this bad? Yes, they do mean that much because you see, without Ziggy Ansah, your only pass rusher is Kerry Hyder Jr. So, yes, Ziggy Ansah makes that big of a difference. He's also a playmaker, a guy that gets his hands on footballs, bats them in the air, may pick one or two of them off. So, Ziggy Ansah is a huge part. And we saw what your defense was without DeAndre Levy last year. So, you already know that without DeAndre Levy as the captain of this defense, in the middle of this defense, you know you struggle already. So you don't even have to ask that question. You got a whole season to see what this defense was like without DeAndre Levy, and you couldn't wait to get him back this year. So without those two players who are your best two defensive players, throw Darius Slay in there, but without those two guys, your defense is average to below average, and you're seeing that. You're struggling without those guys. So, yeah, it's been rough. And finally, at Robbie Sohal says, are the Lions in the bottom 5 of the league? Name the teams worse than them. Well, the 49ers aren't a good football team. I was going to say the Bears, but as of now, the Bears just beat you and they're better than you right now. But the 49ers are a bad team. The Browns are a bad team. There's some other bad teams. I mean, the Colts and the Jags, those aren't good football teams right now either. I mean, there's some bad teams around the league. You could throw the Lions in there, though. They're struggling. I wouldn't say they're in the bottom 5. Talent-wise, I don't want to put them there. I don't want to put them there. But if you're talking about the latter half, the bottom half of the league, if you're talking about those last 10 teams in the league, yes, the Lions are in there. Maybe even the last 7 teams of the league. The Lions are definitely in there the way they're playing right now. They just aren't playing with any confidence. There's no continuity. And they continue to be injured, and if you're not available, it's hard for you to put together the product on the field that you need to be a consistent football team. And we haven't seen a consistent effort from this Lions team since week 1 versus the Colts when they were able to go on the road, score 39, and win in that ball game. We just haven't seen it from them all season long. So that's going to do it for this breakdown, man. It's tough. It's been rough. For the Lions fans. They thought they were going to have themselves a season this year, and it's just not going to happen. And I told you it wasn't going to happen after week 2 because that's the same old Lions. If you want to change the culture, you want to change who you are as a football team, you don't lose to Tennessee at home after a thrilling week 1 win on the road versus Indianapolis. And at the time, we didn't know Indy was going to struggle this year. Thought that was a quality win on the road versus a good opponent. To score 39 and to do it on the game-winning drive, that was impressive. Then to go home and lay an egg and stink it up versus the Titans, that let me know, same damn Lions. Nothing has changed. They're the same 7-9, 6-10 team that they are each and every single year. With that said, it's going to do it for the Detroit Lions and the Bears, the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field in week 4. Lions drop to 1-3. Bears get their first win of the season and get to 1-3. It's going to be a long season for both of these teams, but one team is going to be trending up. The other team is probably going to be looking for a new head coach, among other things, at season's end if they make it to that point. It's going to do it for me here on Lockdown Coverage. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down anything and everything in the National Football League. Got many more breakdowns to come. Got 3 more games, as a matter of fact, to break down in week number 4. Next up, Broncos and Bucks. And then Cards and Rams. So I'll see you a little bit later on. Come back and join me. Remember, we're changing the game 1 live feed at a time. See you next time. Have a good one.